Well, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls, and we're here at a beautiful water that, despite living 3 minutes away from, I've only just started fishing. Now this is the Brixworth Angling Club. This is their own lake in the village where I live, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful lake. It's just stunning, a lovely little paradise here, just on the outskirts of Northampton. Just a beautiful, beautiful place. Now, one thing that's really interested me, I actually fished a match here last week, which I won with 14 pounder silvers. Now this is it's very much a natural lake, you know, there's lots of weed in the edge, the water's clear, there's some lovely carp in it, there's some lovely tench and stuff like that. But largely this is a natural style lake, you know, it's one of them venues where you come in to fish for roach and skimmers, and if you're a carp angler or a tench angler or a bream angler, you can catch those species too. But on the match, what was really nice was actually the alterations I made to my rig and my feeding that made me win on the day. You know, it was only a small match, but at the end of the day it was a lovely, lovely little lesson that I learned, and something that I've sort of now taken forward into some future matches, hopefully on different venues. Okay, so this venue presented a few little problems, if you like, in the fact that there's almost too many fish in my swim when I fish this lake. Like I say, we're fishing in an evening, so best time of day, and the problem was the baits I chose to use and the fish that were in the swim created a few problems. Now, pellets are undoubtedly the bait to use for skimmers in the summer. If your lake responds to them, there's no better bait. However, nowadays, with so many going into these lakes, the roach and everything just love them. And in this particular lake, there's millions, and I mean millions of tiny roach like that. So, it's quite a deep lake this. Like the swim I'm on today is probably a good 7 foot. And it gets deeper and deeper as you go to my right into like the dam end of the lake, if you like. It gets down to about 12 foot. I want to use a big float to get through these fish. Now, if I used a big round bodied float, something like a Power or a Kerry, that'd be great. But the problem is the bites, honestly, the bites are so small off these skimmers. They're literally little dinks, and I'm just not convinced I'd see them on that style of float. So I went away and I've set up a different style rig. And it's something that, I'll tell you a bit of backstory. I've actually got a pencil float on a Paolo. Back in the day, I used to do loads and loads of bloodworm and joker fishing on the Snaeford and Keeper Canal in Thorn. These were all the rage. This was probably 12 years ago. Pencil floats were all the rage. I hated them. I just didn't like them. I thought they were too limited. If you got a lot of tow on that venue, you got a lot of disturbance on the water, and I just felt that you ended up having 2 more rigs set up with a pencil on, then you had to have bodied floats as well. I just preferred to use bodied floats. However, when there's a lot of small fish to catch and you're looking for little indications and you need a big float, they are very, very effective. Now I've got a gram on here. Now if I was to use a gram like a Power, it'd have a big round body on it. It'd just be really hard to read the indications. The reason is pencils are at the best, in my opinion, when you can bomb the bait down, get it down, and everything is on the bottom. You're looking for a little lift or a little under, that is when pencils are at the best, and that is exactly what we're doing here today. We're trying to bomb the bait through the surface layers, because that's where all these little roach are. We're trying to get it to the bottom, catch a better fish. So, how I've got this shotted, I've got a 0.8 Olivet, probably 8 inches from the hook, and then I've got a little 3-inch hook length, and then I've got 3 number 8s right on that hook length knot. So exactly 3 inches from the hook, I've got 3 number 8s. Now the reason is, like I say, I want to get the bait down, but I want the bite registration, and that is where this pencil comes in. I can get it straight down to the bottom. I've got loads of control because it's a heavy float for the depth of water. I can bomb it down, get it to that last little sort of 3-inch, lower it in, and then I've got them 3 number 8s working for me at the bottom. And because I'm using expanders, the bites are really, really tiny, but that shows them up. Whether it's a little under or a little lift, I'm getting a lot of lifts today. This rig is doing the damage beautifully. Like I say, it's just a Paolo float. This could be up to 2 gram. If if I was up that end, I could use up to 2 grams if I wanted to. If the roach were a real problem, I could use 2 grams, no problem. Because the float's slim, I can still see the bites. Now, one little doctor, you know me, I have to alter the float slightly. Now, for this style of fishing, I'm using 6mm pellets. The bristle that was in the Paolo is a bit too thin for that. So all I've done, I've taken a bristle off a 1.5mm hollow bristle. I've chopped the Paolo's bristle down to like 5mm. I've slotted that on and glued it in position. It just gives me a nice visible tip that I can use when I'm using bigger baits. So that's the rig, really, really simple. Like I say, bulk 8 inches from the hook, and then that secondary bulk 3 inches from the hook. I'm just getting the bait down straight away. I'm just catching fish that otherwise it's a nightmare. You know, you're just getting held up with little roach all the time. So that's when these pencil style floats can score. If you are just wanting to get your float down really quick, get it to the bottom, register a bite quick, then these are just fantastic, and that is exactly what we're faced with here. Bait choice is really simple, but it does need to be prepped at home or first thing in the morning if you're going for like a pleasure session. So let's nip home and I'll show you how I prep the bait. Okay, so bait for this quick session, really simple. My main feed is going to be 4mm pellets. So what I like to do, I don't like to feed them hard for skimmers, I like to feed them nice and soft. So what I do, I've got one of these, like, I don't know what they are, this is a really old ground bait sort of bowl, but it's flat and got quite a big surface area, which is important when you're doing softened fours, because if you do these right, these can even go on the hook. And we can do half a bag, what I had left over. It's only going to be a short session this, so you won't need too many. And as you can see, it's like one layer of pellets. That's really important. That's why I choose this type of bowl. Now I'm going to quite generously cover them with water, like that. So all the pellets are covered evenly, so you don't get any super wet ones, super soft ones and some hard ones. They'll just soak there, and I'm just going to leave them. Probably take an hour. Do these the night before, get them soaking, stick them in the fridge, and they'll be amazing by the morning. The only other thing I'm going to do is mix up some ground bait now. I've just done half a pint of Thatchers and half a pint of Super Crush Expander. Not even that actually, because look, that's a pint tub. The reason I'm going to do this is just to kick the swim off, a little ball of this, and I fished a match the other day, and actually feeding small hard balls of ground bait with some pellets in was really important. It got through the small fish. So not even a pint of ground bait, and we're gonna have a great session. So again, generously wet it. We all know that these ground baits take loads of water, so I need to do a bit of this and a bit of that. Just like that. Nice and simple. Get it nice and wet. Because all I'm looking for this is to get it to the bottom in one piece, like almost like a paste. So get it to quite a wet consistency really. I'll fine tune it on the bank. But yeah, that's the bait. I've got some Crush Expander and Thatchers. So I can make a really nice hard ball with that, and it'll be better even still when it's fully absorbed. Don't worry about if it's a bit lumpy and claggy, doesn't matter one bit. I'll show you on the bank how I'm going to feed that. And like I say, the 4mm, put that better on a flat surface, but you get the point. They'll soak that water up and be lovely to feed. And then all I need to do is some expanders, which are just 4mm and 6mm pros. And that's it. That's how simple the bait can be for a lovely day's skimmer fishing. Right, so that was simple. Nice simple bait menu. So I've got the softened 4mm that I did earlier, as you can see. Really swelled up. Skimmers love these. A lot of roach, like I said, so I can't really afford to use micros. So these lovely bloated 4mm are just fantastic. Really nice bait. You can get through loads of, when the skimmers are on, you can get through loads of them as well. I can feed them in little balls, I can loose feed them, but I want to talk to you a little bit about the feeding as soon as I get fishing. Now the ground bait's really interesting. As I mentioned on the little bait prep clip, I'm wetting this up. I've got a little bowl of water on my side tray, and I'm just playing with it and just doing little corner, but what I want it is like a hard paste. So I'm feeding little blobs mainly of little bits of bait like that. It'll break down nice and slowly, but the key is I'm getting it to the bottom. It breaks down slowly. There's not a lot of bait on the bottom, so the skimmers can pick my expander out really easy. I've put loads of pellets in there. You can't really see them, but there's loads of 4mm in there. Brilliant. I'll get through. I've only mixed up not even a pint of ground bait, as you saw in the thing, which is loads for an afternoon session like we're faced with here. And then finally I've got them expanders. Let's say some 4s and 6s, just pro expanders. One little thing I do is put a bit of bait booster in them. Once they're soaked up and swelled up, I drizzle bait booster on them. The only reason is it gives them that nice yellow colour, which I really like actually, but more importantly, it just makes them a little bit tougher. A lot of small fish attention in this lake, so I've just got to resist that with a tougher hook bait. So they're still nice and soft, nice and squidgy, but they're just a little bit tougher than a standard expander. Right, so let's talk you through the actual fishing and the feeding, which is really important. Now in an ideal world, when I'm fishing for skimmers in this way with softened 4s and expanders, I want to be blasting 4mm in, like loads of them, get through 3 or 4 pints in a session. However, on this lake, there's so many fish like that they're just drawn to the noise. As soon as you catch any bait in, they just come straight to the top, and they just, honestly, they rob your pellet off you before you even know it. So the other day I was chewing through them, I was going through, and in the end I just give my head a bit of a shake and I'm like, right, stop, think about what you're doing. And that's where this little pasty ground bait came in. Now I've kicked off the session with literally one ball like that. I fed it probably 10 minutes ago, so I'm sure if I go out there now I'll catch a skimmer. And then what I'm doing, to start with, I probably will loose feed a few fours, just to gather some fish, get everything going. As soon as I start getting any issues with small fish, I'll cut them out completely and I'll feed loads of them through this pasty ground bait. So same goes for the expander size as well. I'll start on 4mm just to see what's about, but as soon as I get any inkling that those little fish are around, I'm on the 6mm. So I'm going to actually start on the 6mm here. I've just got a 16 SFL on, and you'll see how quickly this rig sets because of that pencil float. So all I'm going to do is, I know I've lined up with a far bank marker to put all my bait in. I'm not going to loose feed anything because I've just put that ball in, so I expect there to be a few skimmers. And because it's such a heavy float, I can get into contact with it straight away, slow it down that last little 3 to 4 inch and lower it down the hole. Indication straight away, because it's so positive, it'll just either pop up or go under nice and slow. And then, because I'm fishing pellets, I'm trying not to give it a big strike, I'm just lifting up into it. I've got an 8 Dura hollow on, which sets the hook nicely. I missed a bite there. Yeah, which sets the hook nicely without being too harsh. You see there, I'm getting loads of indications of small fish. I've not loose fed anything, and there's a million roach here as well. So this is why you've got to be so careful with your loose feed on some venues like this where there's loads of small fish. They're lovely fishing here as well. They're like 10 to 12 ounce skimmers, and then I had one the other day that was like £4. Little indication there. Big lift. There we go. Beautiful that. I just sat there for a little while, and I got a lovely little dink and a positive lift. And we've got our first skimmer. That lovely. And that is where this float, honestly, is so good. Look at that lovely skimmer. That's sort of the average, I don't know, 8 to 10 ounce skimmer. Popping back. But honestly, that bite was just textbook what I'm trying to achieve with this rig, with a shot in as it is with them 3 number 8s. Just waiting for it to, nice and slow, little dink, and then it just went straight out the water. No, unmissable. So I'm not going to feed again, I'm just going to go in and try and nail another one quick. There we go, another skimmer. That was a lovely little dink, that. Bit better one this time. Number 8's just so nice. So you get like 3 foot come out, which is perfect. You don't want loads of elastic out, especially with barbless hooks. It's a lovely skimmer, this one. Remember, I didn't need to feed. Beauty. Look at him. Very nice fish, that. Very, very nice. Look at that. Bet he'd probably £1.5, maybe even a bit bigger. Cracking. So I'm going to actually feed this time and just see if I can get another fish. Got a tub of water here so I don't get snagged up. Just clean all the slime off your line. So I'm just going to feed. So that was 2 skimmers off that feed. I'm just going to plop in a ball, let's say, probably a golf ball. Trying to be really accurate with where I'm feeding it. I've got a lovely platform off of it, so nice reference point. Lovely. Now when you're fishing this style, it's important not to be like, sometimes when you skimmer fishing you feed it and then leave it for the fish to come back, but it's important not to do that with this because you feed in small amounts. You need to be on it, you need to know when the feed's gone. So in my experience, especially in the summer when you're trying to like shank them a bit, you just got to fish one spot and just keep it going, keep looking after it, and if you need more feed, add it. It's not one of those where you're just feeding 10 balls and leaving it, you're feeding small amounts but on the bottom, then you need to be looking after it to make sure there's some food left. Oh, little indication then. Because everything's so positive, I've got this, look at that, unmissable lift bite. Fantastic fishing. Another skimmer. Only a little one, but the right species. And if you're catching one of them with a chuck in, you'd do a great weight. And trust me, if you haven't got those shot close to your hook with those type of fish, with a big float on, you ain't seeing the bite. Right, so we're just trying to catch one more fish, and they're proving swines, to be honest. I'm just going to use one of my tricks and go past. The skimmers are not actually that hard to catch, it's getting the bait through the roach that's the problem at the moment. Right, we're down. We're down, that's good. So I've just gone past my bait, so I'm probably 2 foot past, probably, maybe 18 inches past. There we go. Look at that, just went past. And we've got that last skimmer that we've been after. I've just gone past my bait, and even though it doesn't seem a lot in the grand scheme of things, just going past can be so effective. That's a nice fish to end on. Lovely Brixworth. A lovely Brixworth skimmer. Say, that's the average stamp. They're probably 10 ounces. They're way a bit more than you think. I didn't have that many the other night for £14, so a lovely, lovely fish. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again on the next video.